Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Virginia and Grace about Fall, which is going to be in theaters August 12th. Thank you so much, both, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This movie is so out of control. I was sweating the whole time, so thank you for that, by the way. I was stressed nonstop. Got questions for both of you specifically, but I have to ask this, and I'm sure you've been asked this the whole press day. Were either of you afraid of heights before working on Fall?
No.
I
mean, a little. I didn't really know. I mean, I hadn't really been as high as we ended up being. I didn't really know if I was going to be scared. I had a feeling I'd be okay, and I just kind of ran with it. What about you, Ginny?
Yeah, I did not have a fear of heights prior to filming, but, we shot it practically on a 100-foot tower that we were dropped from several times, safely, but dropped from. And I can say I do have a little bit of a fear of heights now, actually.
I was about to say, I did have a little bit of a fear of heights before watching this movie, but if I didn't, I feel like I'd be the same, but I feel like I'd have a fear of heights.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, it's so great. Grace, here's my question for you. I mean, you look at a lot of the projects you work on, you look at this where most of your scenes are just with Virginia, and you look at Shazam where it's ensemble cast. Does the mindset change a little bit, or is it all kind of storytelling a little bit?
That's a really good question, because I really do have more of an ensemble background with like Annabelle Creation, like a lot of larger cast scenarios. So I was really drawn to the opportunity to work with just one actor, not to mention getting to be in the majority of the movie and like show up to set way more days than I ever have, and be on more than I ever have. It was really challenging, but ultimately what I've dreamt of doing, and it definitely exceeded my expectations as far as what it demanded of me and demanded of us.
100%. Now, here's the thing, Virginia. You're no stranger to the horror thriller genre. You look at Halloween. You look at one of my favorite movies, Monster Party. You look at that. Is it fun to be part of the genre where this is like the scale of the genre is massive right now, like horror and thriller, and this one's more thriller, but all the horror fans are going to instantly eat this up. Is it fun to be working in the genre and it's like the best time for the genre right now?
Yeah, I'm also a diehard fan myself. So it's always really fun when you're making projects that you are also a fan of. And, I saw Fall with a very good girlfriend of mine who's also a big fan of the genre. And it was very fun because we both were like, oh, we would love this as an audience member as well. And I do love that genre. I love feeling like sweaty and scared watching something in that adrenaline rush. So it's always so much fun when you're a part of a film that you would actually be a fan of as well.
Yes. And to add to that, Grace, I mean, this is like the definition of like a movie theater popcorn worthy movie. Would you not say so?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's like perfect for that, which is really great. Has it started to hit you a little bit that it's like coming out in theaters soon, Grace?
I mean, I'm just like, I feel like I'm in a little river that's just taken me to a waterfall, and I'm gonna go over the waterfall in a week when it comes out. But I'm just so excited that people are gonna get to see it in theaters. When we were shooting it, we really didn't know if we were gonna have a finished movie because we were just up against so much. And so I know the first time I saw it, I just kind of was shocked that I was watching it, that we actually finished the movie, that it's now going to be seen by others. And the reaction has just been the most heartwarming thing to hear people loving it. And also being terrified by it is the best.
I remember seeing like the little teaser before the full trailer came on. I'm like, what? I was like, what is going on here? Like, I'm in, but what is this? Virginia, is it getting back to a little bit what you said about the genre as well? There's a lot of like horror movies you could just put on in the back, like thriller movies you can just put on in the background. This is not one of those. Like, you have to like dial in and focus.
And by the way, go ahead. No,
do you agree with me on that? Like, you got to really dial in for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm someone, I love having a horror movie on in the background on like a Sunday afternoon. Like I love having them on. There's so much fun. But this is one that like you will not get the full experience unless you are immersed in a theater. And it is so much fun to be a part of a film, especially these days when everything is really made for like at-home consumption.
100%.
But to do something that feels like it needs to be seen in a theater, and we shot it on IMAX cameras, so it's shot at a massive scale. It's so much fun to be a part of something that really needs to be seen in a theater.
And to kind of add to that, I mean, this question for both of you, we'll start with Grace, because both of you have also been involved in like the geek culture, comic book culture worlds and everything. And I do honestly think that those worlds collide and share a lot of the fans of like horror and thriller. Grace, is it cool to think about the fact that like there's those components working together, like that tag team of the fans that like Shazam and then might watch Fall? Like, have you ever thought about that at all?
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I keep getting jokes that why didn't you just fly off that tower? Why didn't you grab you? And I'm like, I'm Becky. I don't have the connections. Yeah, no, it is really neat. And I think what's also exciting for me is I remember when Annabelle Creation came out and getting like people who love horror, and I was a little bit more introduced to that group and that audience through Annabelle Creation. I hope they watch Fall. I hope they see it. I'm really curious what they think. I think I'm a more likable character this time. But yeah, it is a pretty neat crossover how that happens. There's just such extreme elements in both, right?
Yeah.
And superhuman situations, if you will.
Virginia, you like do you agree a little bit more with like the Runaways kind of connection as well?
Yeah, totally. I do think like what you just said it perfectly, Grace. It's that like superhuman, otherworldly sort of element that is in both genres, and the creativity, since you are sort of like going outside of our realm of possibility into this new realm. So it is really fun to be a part of genres that like anything is kind of possible.
Absolutely. People are going to be able to see Fall in theaters August 12th. Virginia, Grace, thank you both so much for your time. It was so great chatting with you.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.